Friday, May 5th, 2,000 people gathered on a small tract of land near Montello to witness the dedication of the reality of a dream that started many years ago. For those who had the foresight to envision the establishment of a memorial park to the memory of the man who is considered the father of our national park system, this was a day that was filled with great anticipation. It was the dream of John Muir that this Fountain Lake region be one day set aside as a nature park to be left in its natural state for the enjoyment of all. Today, the area around Fountain Lake near Montello has lost none of its sylvan beauty. It is with Muir's wish in mind that the people of Marquette County have taken this method of commemorating the work of their most illustrious foster son. WPDR's Public Service Department has made this time available to bring you a special broadcast, a summary of the dedication of the John Muir Memorial Park in Marquette County. The program begins with the Marquette County Homemakers Chorus singing Scottish airs and America the Beautiful. The welcoming address will be given by Eli Nesbitt, former chairman of the Marquette County Board of Supervisors. Mr. Nesbitt will introduce the Master of Ceremonies, Wakelin McNeil.
Today, here at Muir Park, we see the completion of what has long been a dream of our county planning committee. It has been only through the cooperation of many persons devoted to this task that this memorial to John Muir has become a reality. All of us are grateful to the many organizations and their members who have given their time to Muir Park in honor of one of our most famous residents. In behalf of the people of Marquette County, I wish to welcome all the visitors who have come to share in this dedication. At this time, I will turn the program over to our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. McNeil, better known as Ranger Mag. Mr. McNeil. Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What a wonderful day we have. Years of the spring and the springs at morn, and the morns at 7, the hillsides do pearl, the larks on the wing, the snails on the thorn. God's in his heaven, all right in nature's world. This is a day of duty to match the importance of this occasion. Parents, you need nae learn your lessons dismissed, for we came to America to mourn. Now this utterance was made by Daniel Muir, father of Johnny Muir, 108 years ago. And the utterance threw the 11-year-old boy into ecstasies of delight. And some of the things that took place in the boyhood and the manhood of this remarkable personality and character will be reviewed here today. And if boyhood years are important, of great importance in the life of an individual, the springtime of a life, then this place takes on great importance. A place to be visited in a spirit of reverence, for Johnny Muir's spirit hovers over this place. I want to introduce some of our guests here, honored guests. And I will present to them a little memento of this occasion, made from the flesh of a tree that sent Johnny Muir, or helped to do so, into the wilderness, to make the wilderness his university. A black locust, scarred with time, that stood on the campus of the University of Wisconsin and was taken down recently, in recent years. And so I'll present these to our honored guests who are on the stage.
Each of the dignitaries were presented with letter openers carved from the wood of the black locust which formerly stood on the campus of the University of Wisconsin. The honored guest of the afternoon was Hannah DeLipkau, the only living granddaughter of John Muir, who unveiled the monument dedicating the Fountain Lake Memorial Park. Now, here is the address given by Hannah DeLipkau.
I don't believe any of you can possibly imagine what being here means to me. It was always a dream of mine that I could come to Wisconsin I've heard about your magnificent Wisconsin hospitality, but the reality far exceeds what I had possibly expected. I realize, in looking over the audience, that there are so many more of you who are interested in this project that we in California, and my family in particular, had any idea. Your landscape here is so refreshing. There are so many wide open spaces, so many unspoiled spots. I just can't get over that. I love it, every inch of it. I always home in Martinez, California, where John Muir came here for the final years of his life. It is quite congested now. The ranch where I live is subdivided. There's still some very nice spots up in the hillside where houses are not built. But it is a delight and pleasure to me to be here on a part of Fountain Lake Farm, to see that it isn't much changed from the time that grandfather was here. When I was asked to make a speech, I read everything I could get a hold of regarding John Muir's days in Wisconsin. But I finally ran across the speech that he made in California, which said more than I could do. So I'd like to read it word for word. He made this speech 27 years after he left Wisconsin, and he delivered it before the Sierra Club in San Francisco. I believe that was in 1887. I and two of my 5 brothers are also members of the Sierra Club, so I think it's rather fitting that I should read his words. He said, "The preservation of specimen sections of natural flora speaks of pure wildness was a fine favorite notion of mine long before I heard of national parks. When my father came from Scotland, he settled in a fine wild region in Wisconsin, beside a small glacier lake bordered with white pond lilies. And on the north side of the lake, just below our house, there was a terraced meadow full of charming flowers. Citradines, I'm not sure if that's the right way to pronounce it, Citradines, Caliprogram, asters, goldenrod, etc. And along the margin of the meadow, many looks rich with flowers, ferns, and swart. And when I was about to wander away on my long rambles, I was sorry to leave that precious meadow unprotected. Therefore I said to my brother-in-law, who then owned it, "Sell me the 40 acres of lake meadow and keep it fenced, and never allow cattle or hogs to break into it, and I will gladly pay you whatever you say. I want to keep it untrampled for the sake of its ferns and flowers, and even if I should never see it again, the beauty of its lilies and orchids is so pressed into my mind, I shall always enjoy looking back at them in imagination, even across seas and continents, and perhaps after I am dead." That speech that he made in San Francisco, he later wrote to a friend, was the basis of his idea of the national park system. It has been 97 years, I believe, since grandfather left his home here, and all his lifetime, and from the time I can remember, my mother speaking about it, he had dreamed that this area would be protected, unspoiled. So, on behalf of my family, and particularly in memory of my mother, I want to thank you, the people of Marquette County and of Wisconsin, for fulfilling grandfather's dream 97 years later. I just can't tell you how much this means to us. Thank you so very, very much.
And with those words, Jean Hannah DeLipkau, the only living daughter of John Muir, unveiled the monument dedicating the Fountain Lake Memorial Park. The marker was given by Mr. and Mrs. Clarence Troost, Sr. and Jr. of the Montello Granite Company, and the inscription was written by Ranger Mack and reads as follows: He came to America as a lad of 11, spent his teen years in hard work, clearing the farm across the lake, carving out a home in the wilderness. In the sunny woods overlooking a flowery glacial meadow and a lake rimmed with water lilies, he found an environment that fanned the fire of his zeal and love for all nature, which, as a man, drove him to study, afoot, alone, and unafraid, the forest, mountains, and glaciers of the West, to become the most rugged, fervent naturalist America has produced, and the father of the national parks of our country. Don Robinson, a member of the Montello High School faculty, read 2 poems written about John Muir. Here is Mr. Robinson.
I should like to read 2 short lyrics by 2 women. One, a neighbor of this area, Bernie Chapman, and the second by the granddaughter of Sam Ennis, who was a friend and acquaintance of Muir's family. The first, Meditation at Muir Lake by Bernie Chapman. Here at the edge of this crystal pool, young John Muir studied at nature's school, learned to fish and swim and skate, loved it, and named it Fountain Lake. And here neath these aged trees' summer shade, the small boy laughed and ran and played and basked in the sun long summer hours, watching the birds and the clouds and the flowers. His family moved often, and they wandered far, but this childhood home was his guiding star. It was here, on these shores, that he became a lover of nature and destined for fame. The second, a sonnet entitled Lines to John Muir by Emmeline Ennis Cotula of Illinois. 100 years ago and more, you walked around this little lake and through this wood and watched the flying squirrels glide by and talked to red-winged blackbirds nesting where you stood. The whistling wings of wild geese overhead inspired you to leave your plow and seek the miracle of nature's hand instead, from lowland lake to mountain's highest peak. Today we walk and search for things you saw and seek to find the healing truth you found, remembering all the words you wrote in awe and praise of this beloved and virgin ground. Did you stand here, perhaps to pen with zeal the galling harness drops and the wounds heal? Thank you.
The principal speaker of the afternoon was Dr. Iowa Baldwin, Vice President of the University of Wisconsin, whose speech was entitled Conservation Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow.
I'd like to add my word of congratulations to those of you who have the vision and the inspiration and the courage and the determination to develop this Muir Park with the idea of having a permanent memorial to one of your most famous sons here in Marquette County, but also with the idea of having something that will preserve the very spirit of those things which John Muir himself loved so much. Today we are dedicating this land and this marker in the name of one of our great naturalists and prophets. We in Wisconsin are proud of our historic claim to John Muir, and while he belongs essentially to the entire nation, or perhaps ultimately the Scotch will claim him, I think we take our particular pride in the fact that here he spent his boyhood. And here he made...
Mr. Baldwin referred to John Muir as a vigorous prophet of conservation. He said Muir awakened the nation to the fact that it was losing its wilderness beauty and much of its resources. The dedication of John Muir Memorial Park was concluded by the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner by the combined bands of Westfield, Oxford, Montello, and Partyville, the Star-Spangled Banner. John Muir died in 1914 and was buried in California's Alhambra Valley. But never in his long, eventful life did he forget the lessons learned as a boy on the shores of the crystalline lake in the oak openings of Marquette County. Robert Underwood Johnson said his work was not sectional but for the whole people, and he was the real father of our National Forest Reservation system. John Muir himself once perfectly expressed the philosophy behind the establishment of Muir Park at Montello. He said, "Everyone needs beauty as well as bread, places to play in and places to pray in, where nature may heal and cheer and give strength to body and soul alike." The memory of John Muir will live as long as mankind will live, in peace and in harmony with the forests, the rivers, the mountains, the prairies, and the host of living things which inhabit them. This has been a special public service feature of WPDR's Public Service Department. You have heard the dedication ceremonies of the John Muir Memorial Park at Fountain Lake Farm near Montello.
This is the question that we need to ask ourselves each time that we offer a prayer to God.